everybody, it's the Warhipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are once again returning to Darkwater, and we have ourselves one of the big bosses. And he's a pretty big boy. Not the biggest, but he's still pretty big. Anyway, today we are painting Mulgoth the Cleaver. And it comes to me because Games Workshop were very kind and sent me this incredible box early to build up and paint with all of you, and I'm absolutely having a blast. So a massive thank you to them for doing that, and we are going to jump in and we're going to start painting him. So he's been primed in Wraithbone, and the colour we're going to be using first, despite this being a Contrast Plus tutorial, is going to be some thinned down Runelord Brass. And we're going to be applying this over top of all of, well, everywhere that's going to be brass, as well as over the top of everywhere that's going to be green. So with all of that Runelord Brass applied, we are then going to take a roughly 4 parts Militarum Green to 2 parts Lahmian Medium mix. And we're going to apply this over top of, well, all the stuff that's going to be green. So this is most of the armour, excluding this large rondel. Just like this sort of thing. Whilst we're waiting for that Militarum Green to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Guilliman Flesh, and we're going to apply this over the top of, well, all of the flesh. So the best thing to do here is to probably start, funnily enough, right in there under his chin. So with that all done, our Militarum Green should be dry now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Mantis Warriors Green. And we're going to apply this over the top of the armour. This is just to add a little bit of extra green and a hint of yellow into that armour. So whilst we wait for that to dry, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some Agrax Earthshade, and we're going to apply this over the top of the skin. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take 2 colours, Skeleton Horde and Cygor Brown. I'm going to use this to do, well, multiple different things. So the first thing we're going to do with the Skeleton Horde is we're going to use this over the top of the large wrap or grip of the axe, like this sort of thing. We're also going to use the skeleton horde over the top of the little tabard poking out around here. But what we're also going to do in just a moment there we go, looking good. With the Cygor Brown, what we're going to do is we're going to use this over the top of this little section. It's the only gap in the armour. There we go. Now, with the Cygor Brown, in addition to this, we're going to use this over the top of this little strap in here. And then what we're going to do is over the top of his horns, is we're going to use them both at the same time. But what we're going to do is we're going to start with Cygor Brown, and we're going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the antler. Guess that's what it actually is, like that. Then wash the brush, get rid of the water, and then grab some skeleton horde. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply this like that. And we're going to do that pass a couple of times with skeleton horde. Like that. We're just going to come in here, absorb the darkest parts in the main body of the antlers, like that. With that all done, we're then going to take a roughly 2 parts Wyldwood to 1 part Lamy and medium mix, and on the arm here what we're going to do is going to do a bit of blending. So what we're going to do is start by applying this Wyldwood over the top of the fingers, like so. And then we're going to bring it up like that. We're then going to wash the brush, get rid of the water, and then we're going to blend it into our flesh. With that all done, we're then going to take 2 colours once again, only these are going to be Gryph-Hound Orange and Nazdreg Yellow. And we're going to be using these to add some colour to the flesh on the axe. So we're going to start with some Gryph-Hound Orange, and we're going to apply this over the top of the 3 eyes, or boils, whatever they are. And we're going to also apply this along cutting edge goop as well, and along this sort of little bit of mess just there as well. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Nazdreg Yellow. We're just going to come in here. I'm going to use the Nazdreg Yellow to sort of move the colours around like that. And then we do the same thing on the other side. Now that we've basically mixed it by applying the Nazdreg Yellow all over, like that. Only this time, we then grab some Gryph-Hound Orange and apply that. And so with that now done, we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Black Templar and Lahmian Medium. I'm going to use this to add some extra colour into, well, a lot of these areas that we've just done. So for example, around those pox marks, just like that, we're going to apply that mix, and then we're going to just blend it again. A whole lot of blending going on here. Same in here. Wash the brush. Give it the old blendy blends. There we go. Do the same thing around this spiral on the arm. And towards the sort of boils here in the arm. Just like this sort of thing, really. And so with that all done, it's now time to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. And we're going to apply this over top of all of our remaining details. One thing we've forgotten to do is to take some Nazdreg Yellow and apply this inside the spiral on his arm. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to shade all the silver. I'm going to use two colours to do this. And the two colours are going to be Agrax Earthshade and Gore-Grunta Fur. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply some Agrax Earthshade over the top of all the silver, like this. We're also going to apply this over the top of any bits that are remaining in brass, like this one, just here. Like that. However, when it comes to things like the weapon, well, and indeed most of the silver, to be honest, what we're going to do is we're going to apply this Agrax Earthshade all over. Like that, and then wash the brush and grab some Gore-Grunta Fur, and then we're just going to apply this at the same time. You can make it as patchy or as covered as you want, just to give it some real rust and grime. So with that all done, Mulgoth the Cleaver is now what I would call a Warhipster battle ready. However, we're not going to leave him there. No, we're going to take him to the next level. We're going to do this by adding some highlights. Now the first of these is going to be some thinned down Canoptek Alloy. We're going to use this to highlight all of the brass and all of the green, excluding the areas where we've used that Black Templar over the top of the pock marks in the armour. We're going to be highlighting that with something else instead. So with that Canoptek Alloy all applied, we then take some thinned down Deepkin Flesh, and we use this to highlight those blackened pock marks in the armour. So with that all done, our next port of call is to take some thinned down Knight-Questor Flesh, and we're going to use this to highlight the darkened area of this claw. And so with that Knight-Questor Flesh applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh, and we're going to use this to highlight the rest of his flesh on his arm. And we're also going to use this to highlight the flesh on the axe. But what we will do here on the darkened area is going to use this just to add a little spot highlight here and there, just to give it a couple of little light points. Like this sort of thing. And so with that all done, we're then going to use a tiny little bit of Averland Sunset. I'm going to use this inside the swirl on the arm. So with that Averland Sunset all applied, we're now going to take some thinned down Screaming Skull. I'm going to use this to highlight the horns and the tabard. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Skrag Brown and a DIY stippling brush. And this one's been made out of a medium layer brush that we've chopped all the bristles off at the end. And we're going to take that Skrag Brown and we're going to use this to both dry brush and stipple some rust into all of our silver. Like that sort of thing. Whereas here on the shoulder, for example, we can just build up some little patches of it. And so with that now done, in order to add a little bit of variation to that rust, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Deathclaw Brown. And we're just going to use this to add some little extra stipples and passes, just to add a little bit of extra brightness to some of these areas. Just like that. And with that Deathclaw Brown all applied, we're then going to take some Troll Slayer Orange and we're going to thin it down with roughly 4 or 5 parts water to make it really runny. And we're just going to use this to add some really bright rusty bits to some of these areas. For instance, this pock marking back here in the recess. Along there. If you should happen to put too much on because it's so runny, you can just wash the brush. And just kind of lift off some of that excess where you don't want it. And with that Troll Slayer Orange all applied, we're then going to finish him off by taking some thinned down Iron Breaker. And we're going to use this to add basically just some little spot highlights to all that silver. We're not going to do all of it. We just want to pick out some little areas just to add a little bit of shimmer and shine to all our silver. And so with his base now complete, Mulgoth the Cleaver is now finished. And he's got that sort of, that classic awesome Nurgle armoured character look. I think it's going to be a real fan favourite, this one, to paint, because it's kind of like the older ones that you see a lot of Golden Demon winners paint. And this is a really good model, and it's just got such a lovely aura. He's definitely aura farming with that pose. It's absolutely fantastic. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/Warhipster, just like all of these wonderful, amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done, scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.